Hey everyone, today I am doing a LEGO Star Wars building video. It has been a while. I think my last one was all the way back in December, which honestly, I don't know how I've waited this long, but I really have been wanting to build MOCs recently. So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a challenge. It's going to be building a clone base in 3 different time increments, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. I've seen many creators do this, and I've always wanted to try it. It just sounds very fun. I am extremely excited to build these MOCs, so without further ado, let's get started. So let's take a closer look at the 5-minute base. Definitely a short amount of time, but I wanted to at least make sure to get the walls up as well as the floor tiling and at least some details in there. So over here we have 2 clone troopers just walking, having a conversation, as well as some crates over here to at least fill some empty space. And on the right side is a very small command center, so we have a blue screen. I always love using this technique, especially the bottom of a lever piece, and you simply just attach the clear piece to it and it just works as a screen. And there is a control panel with 1 clone trooper working, and there's another control over here. In 5 minutes, that time went quicker than I expected, and it's definitely a lot more pressure working under a time limit like that. But I feel like I got the very bare bones basic look of a base down, or at least a room of one, and it was definitely very fun to work within a time limit as low as that. Now to take a look at the 30-minute base. Already there is a lot more. As you can see, I went with Geonosis, but honestly, because I was working with that time limit, I wasn't even thinking. I forgot to include the pillars that are found on the planet, which I have already built, but the thought didn't even come in my brain until after, and I was like, wow, I missed out on a very key detail. So it definitely does look empty out here, but I wanted to do it in one take to work under that time limit. But I made sure to at least still get some elevation as well as connection between the 3 colors: dark tan, medium nougat, and dark orange. So I think the landscape overall is solid, but I think it really does need those pillars, but I just forgot. So starting over here, there are 2 501st troopers just standing guard out here. There's just some base exterior detail like a vent and just a larger piece there. Of course, there is the main entrance with a button to open it. On the rooftop, there are 2 turrets which can swivel 360 degrees. It's just attached by 1 stud, and it's a more standard design and one that I've used in a lot more other clone bases, but I do like the look. And then there's just a couple of generators there of different designs. There's another vent. And on the top, I just kind of went with some different accented colors like dark bluish gray as well as red as well as light bluish gray, just to add a little bit more color there. And I just wanted to add the dark red for that Republic look. So let's take a look at the interior. There's a lot more control panels here. Over here are 2 cashier pieces, but we're going to pretend those are, Republic control panels. We have a clone trooper working with them, just some crates filling empty areas. We have a clone trooper going to look at the supplies, and then over here we have some more control panels utilizing that technique of the lever piece, this time just with clear screens. A lot more control panels, and we have a clone ARC trooper. It does have some cloth pieces from the Cape Cantina. Also, don't worry about the arm. That is when I decided to Sharpie them. It was a huge mistake and I heavily regret it, but I do think the cloth pieces look very good. They are from the Cape Cantina. Definitely a little bit more detail here. I added some vents on the ground. Like I said, there is a huge difference compared to the 5-minute one. This time I wanted to add an exterior and just a lot more detail on the actual base, as well as a roof and a little bit more detail in the interior. But the 30 minutes definitely felt like a lot more time, and I didn't feel as much pressure, but I still wanted to make sure to get everything. But even then, I forgot the pillars, and that definitely is, it's bugging me a bit. But overall, I do like the look of the base. And then finally, we have the 1 hour base, and already it is vastly larger. I utilized a 32 by 32 stud, a gray base plate, more, and definitely got a lot more detail in, a lot more time, of course. So we're going to start here on the exterior. I wanted to make sure to just fill it out with grass. I used four different types, actually, with the big leaf, and then a 3-stemmed, a different 3-stemmed, and then another 3-leaf type of grass piece. And I just wanted to add various elevations of each, so there's like as high as 5, and I just wanted to fill out the entire area, really make sure that there was really no large empty spots. And then for the trees, I've utilized this design before, and it's honestly probably my favorite, and I think it just fits the look of this planet overall. But it's basically just using those 3-stem pieces and attaching them to some bricks with studs on each side, and just starting with a lot of them and just slowly counting down until there's about 1 at the top. So it kind of creates that tree look. And I just really like the design of them. And I placed them far enough to each other to where they didn't feel too cluttered, but also not far enough to where, it felt too empty within them. And then just kind of throughout the exterior, I just added a couple of 1x1 studs and tiles to act as rocks. Honestly, if I could find more in my collection, I would have put a lot more, but I wanted to at least kind of spread those out. So I have them over there as well to make sure that they're kind of within the vicinity of the entire exterior. Now looking at the base wall, I went with kind of a zigzag design, which I've never really done before, but I think that was the reason why I did it. I was like, okay, I want to have a little bit of variety here and not kind of do what I've been doing in the video, which was a more simple kind of rectangle design. Over here, I do have some pillars going throughout the entire build just to add a little bit of depth. And then I have some different exterior designs. So over here is just some simple curved dark bluish gray pieces. We have 2 of them, and then here they get larger with some dark red for the Republic colors and some grill pieces. And then over here, there is a larger one that utilizes light bluish gray, and then a giant armor piece right there, which just fit perfectly. So for this one, I chose the 187th Troopers, and there is a patrol heading out just to see if there's any droid activity, and some of them do have some arm decals, which I got from Jonak Toys. And then there is the entrance. It's a pretty tall door, but it fits the higher wall. And then we head into the interior. So starting with the flooring, I added a little bit more of those accent colors this time with some blue spread out as well as dark bluish gray to add a more weathered effect, and also just to not make it look all light bluish gray. I added 2 sections of vents as well to help with that. Over here is basically the armory. So we have 2 weapon racks and a 187th trooper getting them, and there is a control panel on here to log the weapons that get taken, as well as just a couple of crates just found throughout. There's also some more crates over here just to kind of fill up some space. We have a pair of 187th troopers heading over here to get geared up. We also have a pair holding a crate. Let's take a closer look at this crate design. It utilizes these pieces, and I simply just put 2 in the middle facing opposite and 1 on each side, as you can see right there, and I just fill it with ingots. I actually recently got a Bricklink order with a lot more of these, so I'm glad that I finally got to utilize them. And I just top it off with a 2x4 light bluish gray tile, and it creates a nice armored crate look. So I decided to have 2 clone troopers carrying one to another section of the base. I had enough to make 2. And I do really like the designs of the crates, and I'm glad, like I said, to have utilized the ingot pieces, and I definitely want to incorporate that in future mocks and kind of expand on that as well. And then finally is the command center area. We have a 187th ARC Trooper with the same cloth pieces from the Cape Cantina as well as a 187th Commander and just a regular trooper looking at the screens, but we have 3 different sections of control panels. I do really like how this one came out, and the hour was a great amount of time, enough to complete the exterior and add a good amount of detail throughout the mock. And like I said earlier, I actually do really like the zigzag design, and honestly I'd like to kind of expand on that as well in future clone bases. I am happy with how the interior came out, the crate design, just all of that. Yeah, the hour is definitely a good amount of time to kind of get everything in. So here are all 3 mocks next to one another. This was very fun. I've been wanting to try kind of this time challenge for a while now. Like I said in the intro, I've seen other creators do it, and I was like, you know what, it's worth a try. And I gotta say, it is worth it. It puts a fun challenge into building mocks, and you know, trying to do it within a time limit definitely adds pressure, and you can just see the going through each build, the amount of detail and size that the time allows you to have. So definitely a very cool experience, and I plan to do more in the future, kind of fluctuate with different time limits. And like I said in the intro, it has been a while since I've last done a building video, so it was very nice to kind of get back into the groove. And this time I really want to be consistent with it, because building mocks honestly is so awesome. Like I said, I had a blast doing this one. I definitely have more videos planned. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you think about these 3 mocks, and definitely slash that like button and hit subscribe with the bell on so you know when I upload. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.